Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for September 13th through 17th, 2021. Wow, can you feel the energy of these times? There has been some massive shifting of energies. We continue to have interesting discrepancies between time and time. A lot of indications that we are accelerating rapidly in this spiritual ascension process at this time. That also means that there's rapid soul growth. And that means there's rapid cleansing and healing happening, especially on subconscious levels. That can be really, really confusing when things come up that we have no access to our consciousness, and yet we are trying to process this. Is it our ancestry? Is it past life? Is it somebody else's energy? It's a very busy time on the astral plane right now, which is good because it's time to clean that shit up, right? But maybe part of that energy has to do with Venus now having moved over into Scorpio. This weekend, we had the moon in Scorpio. Now moon has moved over into Sagittarius. But this is the first Scorpio energy we've had this year, and Scorpio is not afraid to face the darkness. So this Venus moving over into Scorpio, now Scorpio, Venus is about what we want and desire and what makes us feel good. And for Scorpio, it's about the truth. It's about depth. It's about real, true connection and going underneath the facade. It's kind of scary there, though, right? So Venus is not that comfortable in Scorpio. And now we have that coupled with Black Moon Lilith and the North Node. They've been together. They're still very close together. And the North Node of the moon in Gemini coming to the last and final degrees. The nodes move signs at the end of December. So there's so much happening in the last half of December. All of these markers that we're coming to an absolute end of a chapter. It's been 2 years of really our whole world being kind of turned upside down. It will be at that point. That was the beginning of this whole charade we've been living through. And I would expect some resolution, by the end of this year, of some deeper and more profound and revelations of our world. There's just no way around it. And Black Moon Lilith speaks to this. Black Moon Lilith, deepest, darkest, hidden secrets in Gemini, trying to come into expression. And the North Node in Gemini, and coming to the end degrees of the North Node in Gemini, there's a big push, a big bloom to complete the issues, come back into our voice and our communication, to claim back our rightful place. And it's really about the twins. There's a balance coming into finding who we are in our wholeness. Using duality within the masculine archetypes of feminine to come into out of the battle, out of the divide and conquer, and so there's an interesting energy there, mystery of Gemini. Gemini has a mastermind energy, and it's about using duality to come into more of a unity. And the way you do that is through expression, equal expression of the parts of ourselves, expression of those voices that have not been heard, expression of those things that have been hidden deep, deep, dark in our psyche. So that's a really intense energy. And Black Moon Lilith is already coming into a trine with Saturn in Aquarius. So this will be exact through the end of the month. They're getting closer, but the transit will last through the end of the month. And so this is really interesting because a trine is harmonized. It's an air trine, and it's saying, hey, to build in this new world, we've got to express the deepest, darkest secrets, right? So the North Node, Black Moon Lilith, this trine with Saturn, trying to figure out how to create and build structures for the Aquarian age. And it's saying you can't go anywhere until you get that truth, face the lies, the deception, the house of cards that our reality has been built on. You cannot go and build a new house with a rotten foundation. You know, we cannot take this with us. And so we're at the end of the road as far as, are we going to move into the Aquarian age? Are we going to claim our golden age? Not unless we can expose the darkness, because as long as the darkness is hidden, it can continue to go on. And we've seen the end road now. We've been shown, right, the authoritarian control of where we could be going without rapid and radical changes, right? And so corruption, all the false authority structures must be revealed. Now, this is exactly the energy of the Mercury retrograde, because Mercury in Libra, now Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, we talked about, which is an air sign as well. So we'll have all of the air signs represented very strongly. And so a lot of air trine energy. Now the air energy is speaking to the new Renaissance, that we're moving into an era, an age of Renaissance, represented by that greater conjunction that happened last year in December. Jupiter and Saturn coming together in first Capricorn and then Aquarius. And speaking of the shift over into the air era, 200 years of air energy, which is associated with Renaissance, a revival of culture, art, music, expression, you know. But we can't do that while we're like limping along in this just trauma, immobilized in trauma with all these lies. And you know what I mean? So it's interesting that this is presenting itself kind of being like, hey, you know, what are you going to choose? You know, do you want to stay in the depths of hell with the Satanists, or do you want to go ahead and move into the golden age that has been written and waiting? More evidence every day. And the astrology is speaking to this. Really powerful messages, because wow, this Mercury retrograde. Mercury went into retrograde shadow in the opposition. We're just coming out of this with Chiron. Mercury in Libra, Chiron in Aries, this energy of pain over where we've given up our life force, where we've given up our power, where we played small in order to survive, right? So that starts off the energy. And then Mercury will stay in square with Pluto as it turns retrograde. And now that happens on the 27th. So for the second half of September, and we're already feeling it, we've got 3 whole weeks of Mercury as it turns retrograde, really dynamic energies, in square to Pluto. This Mercury in Libra is like our whole time, the way we've known it, grinding to a halt. Mercury in Libra is trying to come to peace and harmony, but we're finding that the peace and harmony, like the status quo of like, oh, it's okay, I'll go along with the program. If it's time to get a star on my belly, I'll get a star. Oh, the stars aren't cool on the belly anymore, I'll get rid of my star on my belly, right? It's like this whole sheep mentality of going along with the program is not going to work, right? We cannot comply with tyranny. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. And because Pluto and Capricorn represents false authority and structures around power. And exactly that deep issue with Chiron in Aries, this wounds over where we've played small and not been in our power. And so just so incredible. And then, but Mercury ultimately wants justice in Libra, right? But we can't have, it's not surface harmony and justice. We need, then that's where that Black Moon Lilith transits come in. It's like, yeah, no, we need the truth. We need disclosure. You know, we've got to have a firm foundation to stand on. And until we have that truth, we only have the rotten house of cards. So, that square, Mercury square Pluto, for 3 weeks, and it's just tension, tension, tension. And it's saying that now, but this is interesting because Mercury also makes an inconjunct. It's just done that for the first time. So for in retrograde energy, the planet appears to station and go backwards and then come forward. So it ends up going over 3 times. 3 times is like how you cast a spell, you know what I mean? And it's very powerful messages for us here, because Mercury will also make an inconjunct with Uranus. We just felt that one for the first time, but 3 times in conjunct with Uranus and 3 trines with Jupiter. Now, in conjuncts are about an adjustment that needs to be made. And it's about directly across the zodiac, 1 sign over. And so this is saying that Mercury in Libra, true justice really has to do, the adjustment that needs to be made is the revolution of wealth, an adjustment of wealth. And indeed, all the corruption that's been allowed to happen has been allowed to happen because we've been printing money out of thin air. Like this Uranus and Taurus is a revolution of wealth. It's about us coming into our potential, our abundance, the wealth. We have the wealth that you actually get to take with you, and you are abundant in it. And this is why it's been so hard. And you finally made it. And here you are. You were made for this time, right? That's this revolution of wealth. But the corruption, the lies, the darkness that need to be cleaned out of that house, a snake's got to get out of the basement, and you rebuild that foundation. And that energy, so that revolution of wealth, it's like all the corruption that's ever been able to happen has to do because of the central banking system and our money not having anything to back it up. And it's a Babylonian money magic system. We are in debt slavery, right? So that's got to get cleaned up, right? But the Aquarian age is called the Golden Age. It's supposed to be this time of peace and prosperity for humanity as we rise into a new dimensional frequency. There's so much through history and through psychic insight that's come through different teachers and prophets. It's like, and the Bible itself, the story is all about this golden age that we're moving into, and Uranus and Taurus represents a revolution of wealth. We're talking about that new currency, new financial system. We're talking about the wealth that's within you, the abundant wealth of what really matters in this world, and the revealing that revolution. Now, this is the interesting thing because, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So we're talking about the wealth in the new age. What is wealth in the higher vibrational frequency? And that's intuitive power. That's the only true wealth. No wonder they came so hard down on us, right? This is the only thing that makes sense. And so that revolution is about the advanced souls, all of humanity coming into knowing that they are God, in essence, by definition, and have source energy right there within your soul connection to your body, your immune system representing this vital force. You are given the gift of God's life. You are that. Are you ready to come home into his house again? And this is, so the revolution of wealth is overcoming the issues of self-worth, like that you don't deserve your own spiritual abundance. And these souls coming into, this ascension is about us recognizing who we really are in this, beyond what we can imagine. You're a secret agent, and that secret had to be kept even from you, and now it's time to, open up that Superman, reveal the superpowers of the supernova soul. And that's being revealed to you as well. But this is the revolution of wealth for the Aquarian age. So it's interesting that Mercury is making that in conjunct because it's kind of like, hey, you guys, ding, ding, ding. Don't forget this aspect of this whole thing. So true justice, peace and harmony, abundance of the golden age, all has to do with the wealth revolution. Now, then Mercury also makes 3 trines with Jupiter. So incredibly powerful because these will happen at 23 degrees. Well, they'll happen the first time when their Jupiter's Mercury's still direct before they turn. This is coming up around the the equinox. The second time is at the beginning of October. So the first one's at 23 degrees with Jupiter retrograde, both retrograde at 22 degrees. That's October 3rd. And then for the third and final time, both direct on 11/21. Now, wow. So there is a massive shift as Jupiter is expansion. It's big. It's a big energy. It's the king. It represents abundance. Jupiter is a positive energy that brings more and expansion. And so there's a huge shift when Jupiter turns direct. And it's pretty epic that this epic Mercury retrograde, trying to find justice because we can't get anywhere without it. And Mercury and Jupiter turn direct together on the same day, October 18th. So really, really powerful shift of energy, because the whole story this year is around Jupiter going 3 times over that point of the shift of ages from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. And that third and final time happens also around that solstice point in December. So that's really powerful. Now, the thing we're feeling right now this week, exact tomorrow, is the sun opposite Neptune. So bringing this all back together, the sun is who we think we are. In Virgo, it's speaking to cleaning up our identity, cleaning up the shame around being a planetary healer, where you've been programmed with shame because the light was attacked in the Piscean age. Now the sun is opposite that in Virgo, being like, and it's interesting because it really mirrors the energy of this time. It's not until the world gets hard and weird before you go, what in the heck am I here for? What am I doing? What is the point? And that's a very powerful place. You've been there your whole life, supernova soul, but for humanity to have that opportunity. But for supernova souls, it's this whole thing. It's just like, oh, I'm not here to hide and shame and roll over and give my power away. I'm Superman, Superwoman. I got this energy to express, this bigger experience to have. Let me out of the 3D matrix cage, and it's kind of like, so it's like reevaluating and claiming your role as a healer and cleaning it all up, because that's the key to what we were talking about, is this abundance, So when supernovas are receiving their abundance and feeling worthy, there's an interesting energy. They say that people who win the lottery, will give all the money away as soon as they can. It's like a hot potato. They can't hold on to it, right? So it's like, as long as that poverty, you can give all the money in the world, but if that poverty consciousness is still there, then it's not going to be able to, create more wealth or move that energy, right? This is exactly what we're finding, is that we've been through the trauma programming, immobilized. And so that takes away all of our flow of energy. And so much is about this. The free energy, new technology, is based on the flow, perpetual motion, right? So we got to get out of this immobilization place of trauma and start working with the creative energies again. Now, it feels like we're getting permission for this slightly, little bit more every day. It feels like there is a dismantling of the control grid. Run with this. It means that rapid psychic healing, weird, strange symptoms in your body that you can't access what in the heck they have to do with. But it's like we're getting used to being free again. If all the control mechanisms were just taken away, we'd go crazy. Like we're being artificially, our ascension process, just like I was talking about, everything and all the corruption goes back to this printing fake money, right? And it's like everything in this process of coming into the wealth of who we really are is about the substance, right? Show me the money. What is here to back it up? And I guess that's maybe the energy of this sun opposite Neptune. Like, who am I really? What is the point? Because if you don't feel worthy and you can't receive that money, I mean, the abundance of you, this energy in your life, like how are you going to work with it, share it, and grow it, right? And so this is the revolution of wealth for the supernova soul, is clearing all that shame. So this is, if you're interested in the secrets around where you got this programming, it has to do with, you can look at Black Moon Lilith's placement in your chart. And so the sign in the house that Black Moon Lilith are in can tell you, why did you get programmed with shame as a supernova soul? What is the issues? What's that core issue that keeps pulling you back down into that hell realm? Because we can't play there anymore, right? So we got the revolution of wealth means the self-worth for your gifts of who you are, so we can start moving and working with it, and so really powerful, this Mercury trine Jupiter. And so Mercury square Pluto, but also trine Jupiter. And when you have those two, you have a really harmonizing trine, and you've got the square tension pushing the change. That's the justice that needs to come by the revealing of the false power structures. That is when you get magic. And this Mercury retrograde in Libra, it's like, whoa, we got to backtrack and figure out all of this stuff in order to move into justice phase. And that's what's necessary to move into the Aquarian age, which is the golden age. And so uncovering the wealth of you. This is the whole point of the intuitive training I'm offering. You might want to check into that. I put information in the box below. It starts September 30th. I have a video out about it, talking more about it, but that training is designed to modern day mystery school uncover those gifts within you and all of the fear programming or authority contracts, whatever's in the way of you accessing that abundance. So really great energy for these times. So I hope you'll consider joining that intuitive training. Keep out next weekend. We're coming up on the equinox on the 22nd. We've got the full moon in Pisces on the 20th. So lots going on, and Mercury turning retrograde on the 27th. So very powerful September energy. And it's like kind of this place where all of the planets are speaking to us right now. Now that says pay attention, right? Powerful, powerful. The zodiac is about the story of our evolution personally and collectively. And when you complete all the lessons of all the signs, then you've done. And if you start with your process in the earth realm, then you got to complete it here. And so when we get all of the energies speaking to us at once, it's speaking to that. It's speaking to a completion, speaking to the end of the chapter and the beginning of another. And what do we need to do? We got to face that truth. We got to get out from under the shame. We got to receive our own abundance and rewire that programming, reveal the corruption, the deepest, darkest secrets, and move into that light. You're here for a reason. Powerful role you're playing in this transition. And so by keeping up with the story and the stars, we can really keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening in these most crucial and powerful times. So look out for full moon activation for that Pisces full moon, as well as there's a soul group session, the group intuitive session for the equinox, as we move into the most potent and powerful energy of the year, of the decade, of the century. We'll see. We thought last December was intense, but it's almost like that is a story that is completing as Jupiter takes that final pass over the Pisces Aquarius cusp, sending us, catapulting us into the Aquarian age. So we'll see what that means, but there's definitely a lot about revealing the darkness of the dark lies and the truth of the lightest, most powerful forces here, latent and hidden within humanity. And Supernova Soul, you're here to lead the way and demonstrate that abundant potential. Welcome to the Golden Age. And start right now being there, breathing there, coming into that house of that golden light, that place we can all meet in the God mind together, and just keep bringing yourself back there. This sun opposite Neptune is about confirm, affirm who you are and why you're here. You don't know specifically, but you do feel that the time has come, right? So hang in there. I look forward to seeing you soon. And we'll see you on maybe that activation, soul group session, intuitive training, the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.